Presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. My name is John Bruce, along with Matt Hoops. We're your hosts each and every week here on most weeks. Sorry. I forgot you weren't here 2 weeks ago. Because Nick was here.
Yep. What is this? Show 5?
Yeah, this is show 5.
4 out of 5? That's not bad.
Which is better than what I did in football season. So, next to us now is Austin Hill. Do you throw the middle initial in since there's another one?
No, I don't. Okay. I usually keep it out. I mean, truly, it's actually my first initial because John is a family name. So I've always gone by Austin. My dad does the same thing. He goes by his middle name. So
okay, I didn't know if it was like a Michael B. Jordan thing.
No, not for me at least.
So, we've talked about this in our lobby here. Austin is a member of, you're a race driver, but it's the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, correct? It used to be the Xfinity series. So if you know the Xfinity series, I mentioned on Overtime what it used to be called, which I don't think technically we can say this because it's a high school show, but it was sponsored by a beer at one point. Austin from Frankfort, correct?
Yeah.
And you go to Ohio State?
Yeah, I go to Ohio State University.
So, we talked about this. You've driven for a long time. When did you get your start as a driver?
So I started when I was 7, and then I started in cars when I was 13. That was the first time I did an actual race in cars. Was 13.
Okay, so we also kind of laughed about this out there. When you first raced in a car at 13, how fast do you think the fastest speed was that you went?
I'd say probably 150 or so. I mean, I don't really know off the top of my head, but I mean, we were in the second fastest cars that were allowed on the track at the time. So I mean, it was pretty fast. Yes. Put it that way.
So Coach Hoops, you've driven for quite some time. Have you gotten to 150? Because I have not.
No, not, and I've really never had a desire to. I don't know. That seems scary to me.
You will once you do it once.
Well,
is there an opportunity? Can I drive? Can you hook me up with like a little practice test or something?
Sure.
Practice run.
Try it.
All right. Maybe.
So, one of the really cool things is like one of the things we got to do with this. If we've learned different things, like we talked to someone that's a pole vaulter, which I mean isn't. It's still kind of extreme, but it's not like what you're doing at this point. So we're getting to learn a little bit of stuff. And, this week you are going down to Daytona.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. And you are 18 years old. So an 18-year-old going down to Daytona, you get to do some stuff down there, which there will be an announcement later on this week. That'll be more about that. So check out everything about Austin throughout this week, and you're going to learn more about it. But can you just kind of tell us how you got your start and how you are currently, I mean, as an 18-year-old, like how you kind of got into all this?
Yeah, when I was 7, my dad started racing, and obviously, most kids, they sort of follow their parents. So he got me what was called a quarter midget. I did that for about 2 years. We did really good in it. And then we ended up getting into go-karts because that's what my crew chief, Tracy Stevens, that's what his kids did. That's what he did. So, it was something that he was aware of. He knew how to do all the stuff on it better than a quarter midget. We did that for a few years on dirt and oval asphalt indoors. And then we switched to road course go-karts, which is sort of where I got my whole road course cars situation. We did, when I was 12, we won 14 championships and 43 races in 1 year. And so that was our turning point of, hey, we got to figure out.
Like, you're pretty good at this.
Yeah, hey, we got to figure out what's the next step. And at that point, the next step was truly Formula cars. So we took a year. We sort of stepped back a little bit, didn't do as many races and go-karts. Bought a car, and then, Bob Wright with Formula Race Promotions, he let me race actually a year before I was supposed to be allowed. When I was 13, he sort of gets to say, and hey, you can drive, or hey, you can't. He can look at what you've done and everything. Did that, and he let me race for the series for a little while. I got 3 championships and a couple seconds in his series with a couple different cars. But that was sort of my start with the whole cars, road courses, and everything. And then we've sort of moved into sports cars since then, and sort of taken off into the NASCAR side of things.
Yeah, so that's it sounds like it's you are making your way up, kind of like what you do in any other sport. Is you're getting better at the level you're at, then you move on. So,
I just find it fascinating that you said your dad just he takes you along. Most kids like go watch their dad play pickup basketball or something like that, and then they get into that. We're talking about driving cars that, you're not even double digits yet, and it's mind blowing to me, and it's really impressive. Obviously I've known you for about 17 minutes, and just all of the things that I've learned is really impressive that I had no idea about.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that sort of goes on like behind the scenes. A lot of people don't even know that it happens, and then you sit there and you think about it and you think how much is really going on behind the scenes, and it really adds up. My dad will tell you he's basically got 3 full-time jobs, being helping me with my racing, his actual job as a fireman, and then running our business. He's got basically 3 full-time jobs. You never see him not working for the most part.
Well, then you said as a fireman too. So obviously, when you do something like that, it takes some bravery as well. So I can see how that would kind of go into the racing aspect of it. But what's the longest course that you've driven on?
Road America is pretty long. It's just a little over 4 miles. It's a really fast track. It's tight, but it's fast, which is, sort of the best of both worlds because it gets really technical, but then it's also, a lot of straight line speed, a lot of really fast sweeping corners. Everyone always talks about the kink. That's probably the scariest and best corner you'll ever, experience in your life, because when your tires are worn out and you go through there flat foot, you're going to be thinking, oh, please don't let me hit this wall. But, you're going 140 mile an hour around a corner and, just hoping nothing goes wrong pretty much.
I'd be freaked out if it was your dad every weekend. But, he got you into it. So, it's because, like, when I go around one of those in, like, the Huntington Hills and I'm going, like, 20 miles an hour, I just don't want to go into the woods here. So you've got walls there as well. So, when you first did those, was there any like kind of hesitation, or is it just like, hey, this is just what I do?
I guess the running joke has always been the younger you are, the less fear you have, because there's sort of less that you have to fear. I've always looked at it sort of the same way. When I was 13 in a car, I really didn't have any fear. The biggest fear I had was sort of not being good enough, or making someone else's weekend worse because I didn't do something that I know I could do pretty much. Everyone, when you're 13, they make you start at the back. Even if you qualified first, they're going to make you start in last just because, mess up the start or whatever. You don't want to ruin everyone else's races. But, I guess you almost gain fear with age. So I guess the less fear that you show at an older age, the better off you sort of are. Because, a lot of these kids are getting into micro sprints or, even full-size sprint cars, and they excel really well because they have little to no fear. Because for me, honestly, the biggest fear throughout almost all my racing this far is the fact that if I wreck it, I fix it. Most kids, they get into the NASCAR world, that's like not their fear, because I guess a lot of them don't work on their own cars, and that's sort of like, that's a downfall for them because they don't know what doing one thing to the car does, because they've never actually had to do anything to the car. So I guess I excel in that standpoint, is the fact that, when we get home from a race weekend, I have to do everything to the car to get it ready to go to the next one. And so I guess it makes me a better driver, but it gives you a little bit of fear because you know that you have to fix it, and, you have to make the time to fix it.
Yeah, like it's almost like with anything, you have responsibility.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and I'm sure it makes you more aware and smarter. The less damage you do, the less work you have afterwards. But
yeah,
these numbers of ages and speeds, it's still crazy for me to even like. how did you? I mean, I know you said you went with your dad and he raced, but like, when did you know this is something I want to do?
I'd say when I was like probably 9 when I got into go-karts, I was like, I think I could actually do really well at this, like on a I guess larger spectrum of going pro with it and doing cars and everything else. And I think my dad sort of saw it when I was 12 that hey, this is something that like he's really good at, let's try it. And then we started doing really good in cars too, and so we just sort of kept growing it. And we always tell people like it's not always the championships that sort of show how good of a driver you are, because you can't control what other people on the track do.
Right.
It's sort of like at a basketball game, you can't control if someone like pushes you to the ground and breaks your arm. You can't control that. That's not your fault. That's no one. It's only that person's fault, but you couldn't control it, and it ends up, I guess, showing the person you are how you get back from it.
Adversity.
Like how you handle yourself, how you handle what cards have been dealt to you. If you go out, the next game that you're back and you win it and you're the highest score, then you prove that you're meant to be there. You're the best. It's the same thing with racing. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like you, in a way, you make your own luck with how you how you handle things, as you mentioned with adversity and whatnot. And that's, and I feel like as you get older, you're just gonna get better at that anyway. But it sounds like you are very mentally prepared for what you're going to be going into. So, this is the Haynes-Stoll Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. And, one of the things that we really like to talk about on here is the value that like chiropractic care helps you. And I imagine going at the speeds that you go at for as long as you go can't be the easiest thing on your body. So how important is it to get to the chiropractor and take care of yourself in that way?
Yeah, truly, I had never gone to Brandon or any chiropractor until I had a fairly big wreck. As far as it didn't really do any damage to the car. As far as I even continued racing it that weekend, but I got back and I was like, man, I'm in a lot of pain. Everyone knew that I made the smart move when I backed the car into the wall. I lost all my brakes at Road America actually, and backed it into the wall going about 120. And realistically, everyone sort of knew that like I was in pain. They could see it. I went to Brandon probably a week and a half later, and he showed me the scans, and I had basically everything maxed out on the scales of how much inflammation you could pretty much have in all the back and in all the back muscles and everything else. And he started adjusting me the next week. When we continued at it, like every 3 days, I'd come back in and we just keep adjusting. And he fixed that, but then we decided like, hey, every race weekend we need to do something. And then in the off season, sometimes it's every 2 weeks, but I try to keep it consistent every week. Go in there, just get adjusted, because it's not always just the racing that sort of wears on my body. It's also the preparation for the weekend. We tear a car down in 3 days. You take the motor out, take it all the way down to a frame, and then you rebuild it. In a week, we could pretty much tear down a whole car and rebuild it from the ground up. And that doesn't just not put a toll on our body. So there's definitely an advantage to it, and I definitely appreciate everything he does for me. And he knows my situation as far as racing, and he knows sort of where my body like gets the most stress, and most of it's your shoulders and your ribs. They really take the brutal beating, I guess, on a race weekend. For me at least, I think a lot of guys would agree with that.
Like one of the things that Brandon, when you first get your initial consultation or whatever with you and with him, I've heard him say this to me and other family members is like, have you ever been in a car accident? Like, because of all of the trauma. And, most people say, hopefully they say no. I know I did. But for you, yes. I mean, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So
yeah. I mean, I've never really, I guess I never really have wrecked that much. Probably 3 times in all the times I've been in cars, and 2 of them were probably in that first season. Just from stupid mistakes, things like that. You know, one time I needed like a tenth of a second on a 2.5 mile course, and you know, guys fight over that on a little 8th mile for dirt, and they think that, you know, that's not a lot. And you know, for us on a road course, even though it's 4 miles, a tenth is a lot to us. But that's truly nothing in the grand scheme of things, because if you have 20 corners, you're only needing to make up pretty much 0.5, you know, and then you're going to make up a lot of time, you know, if you do that on each corner. I remember the first time I wrecked, you know, we were like, hey, we need a tenth, and I sent it into the first corner as hard as I probably could, and it just didn't stick, and I sent it pretty much. I just spun out a little bit and backed it into the wall a little bit. But you know, I never went to go see Brandon after that one or anything like that. But you know, there's certain times when your body tells you what you need, and you know, when I hit the wall at Road America, it was like, yeah, I need it. You know, I didn't have any more breath in my body after I hit the wall, because I mean, you hit a wall that hard, you know, going 120 to a dead stop and a tire barrier is pretty. It was a pretty hard hit, you know. Luckily, not damaging the car that much, but you know.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah. What were you more worried about, your body or the amount of work you're going to have to do on the car?
Truly the car, because in all reality, I think it was still qualifying at the time, and it basically this is our like national runoffs type thing, and so you basically have to make your car last from the start of the weekend, which is like probably a Monday, all the way until the following Monday, pretty much, and you're on the track every day. But the problem was I was running that car in 2 different classes, because my first car actually blew up the motor like 3 laps into our first qualifying. And so knowing that I was going to either miss out on both my races because of it, or I was going to have to figure out how to fix it, was probably more of a worry to me than actually my body at the time. But, you know, we fixed it. We got back out there. We did okay. Could have done better, but we had a bunch of different problems that probably started from that, if we're being honest.
I'm going to be honest real quick. Just listening to you talk, just talking to you out there, I feel like you're going to have a lot of days where you're going to do better. Like, I feel like you're going to have a lot of success in this, and really glad you're able to come in here and take a little bit of time with us. But this coming weekend, so you leave on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Look for an announcement coming up around that time.
Yeah, probably Thursday. Thursday, I think, is when we plan on doing the announcement of what we're doing.
So, yeah, big announcement for Austin and his team coming up on Thursday. And, you know, I think you got at least 3 new fans here that we're going to follow along and see how you're doing all along the way. So we appreciate you coming in. And, you know, we're gonna take a quick break. And you're watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. Hang right with us. welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. As always, we thank Glow Fiber for providing internet access for tonight's show here in the Chillicothe Sports Card Studio. Probably should have mentioned that in the first part. Speaking of the new studio, we have two new guests in here that took the long way to get here tonight. Right to my left is Cooper Stoneking, and to his left is Caydon Cox, both of Chillicothe High School. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
You guys happy to get some exercise in on the way over here?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So we recently switched offices and studios, and they went to the old one. But we're able to get here pretty quickly, so we appreciate them coming in. And you guys season off to a nice start. Cooper, as a senior, how much fun has this season been so far? After last season was pretty good, but kind of been a little bit tough before this.
Yeah, it doesn't really even compare. Like I really love our guys this year, and I feel like there's just a different morale around our team. It's just like we just keep winning, and it's just like a normal thing now. It's just like we're just rolling at this point.
Yeah, it's just it takes a little time to do it. It's I kind of jokingly say it's like you guys are both shooters, but for a shooter, the first one, like if you miss your first two or three, it can be kind of tough. But when you see that first one go in, feels like it's a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing with winning. Like winning's never easy, but when you do it, then you get used to it, and then you know what it takes to win. Yeah. And that's one of those things. It takes a while, but as a senior, just how much has it meant to you to have this really nice start to the year?
Yeah, it means a ton because especially my first 3 years, we definitely struggled a little bit, and it's finally starting to pay off my last year when it really matters, and it's nice to see it all come together and wins start coming.
And then Caydon, you've had some really big games, especially that second half. You guys were both huge in that Unioto game, but Caydon, it felt like you guys get down 8 to 10 points and you just kind of got going really quick. How much fun was that to play in that environment and to have a really big half like that?
It meant a lot. It's a huge rivalry. The atmosphere is crazy. We had a lot going on. I struggled a lot in that first half. Seen a free throw go in, and then I got a good look at a three, knocked that one down, and then I just started rolling from there.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those confidence things. And, I know, Coach Hoops, you probably had it. I didn't have one of those nights where things start going well like that. But you could just tell, with both of you guys, whenever things start really going well, you could just tell, you guys weren't losing that game at that point. And just, you said a lot going on. Coach doing all right?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
Good. That's that's the best news that you could have at this point. So, it was an outstanding atmosphere. I thought you guys handled everything really well, and it was just really fun to watch, even as Unioto people.
Yeah, it was just obviously the environment was great. I thought the basketball was really good too.
Yes.
A lot of times when you get in those type of situations, players or teams will try to maybe do too much. I really felt like that game, both teams kind of played to their strengths, and it was a 3-point game. I mean, it could have really gone either way, but that takes a lot of credit. And I think what it really takes is a lot of maturity. And both you guys have played varsity basketball since your freshman season. Talk about how not only has your game, but the game in general just changed from your freshman year to now your junior and senior seasons.
When I first came in, it was just really just trying to learn all the basics from the older guys. And then my sophomore year, we were pretty young, and I had a big role to fill, and so did Caydon coming in as a freshman. So from there, I've became more of a leader, especially this year and last year, but more this year. I've really tried to be more vocal to the guys and just try to teach them as much as I can my last year.
It was a lot my freshman year coming in, and I didn't really know anybody that well, and Cooper was just he was always there, and he helped me, guided me throughout the season. It was just a lot, but as we've gotten older, the biggest thing was physicality, and we stayed in the gym working out, and we've just built a pretty good program.
Yeah, then, something I've noticed over the years anyway, even a couple years ago, your guys' students are outstanding. Just how much fun is that? How much extra energy does that give you guys whenever those guys are just bringing that much energy every night, watching you guys and cheering you on? How much does that make you want to play a little bit harder?
Yeah, our students they get after it, and it really, really helps us. Like, all the time people are telling us, you guys got the best student section in the area. Even players, they don't want to come play at our place because our students are absolutely crazy. But it's just, it makes us more hype. It makes us more ready, and there's like more to play for than just us. It's also the students that are there to support us.
And it doesn't matter if we're home or away. It doesn't, the winner, they show up, so it don't matter how far it is, they're always showing up. And it means a lot that like our peers are coming out to support us and help build what we're trying to build.
Well, I was like, that was one of the things when you guys played Bloom Carroll in that opener, and they come in and completely filled that area. I was like, that's pretty impressive for. I mean, St. Trace isn't like far away, but still to go out.
But it was still a holiday weekend.
Yeah,
it's just,
they're committed.
Yeah,
they love it.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
and it definitely it can provide just a little bit more. So I could see why that would. But how much does your guys' just the schedule that you guys play? I know you guys just played a really good New Albany team. We won't talk about that. But how much does that help you guys? How much do you think that helps you guys just overall get better? Because you have to. There's no nights off for you guys.
Yeah, it definitely helps playing the New Albany's and the OCC schools because other schools in our league really aren't doing that, and it really helps us like for tournament time and really when in league play when we can just play how we play against the really good schools and just do a lot better against our league schools.
I would say it probably helps because there's not many teams also playing those type of schools, and then it also helps us compare where we're at. We see if we can go out there and compete with those type of teams and base off how we're going to keep playing throughout the season.
Talk a little bit about, obviously you guys are off to a great start, and you two are the really big reason for that. But just talk about the development of some of your guys' role players. And I just thought, I've only seen you play once, but the game I saw, I just felt like their length and their athletic ability, and the fact that I really felt like those guys just played their role. Like they didn't try to do too much. Just talk about those guys.
Yeah, since last year, we've had a lot of guys step up. Andrew played a lot. Andrew started most of the games last year, but especially this year, he's really stepped up his scoring. And Kayvon and Noah has been in the weight room all off season. Hopefully, you guys could tell. He's worked his butt off, and it's showing. And Kayvon knows his role, and he plays it really well. And it's all come together, and it really shows.
I would say Kayvon and Carter are our X factor. They're interchangeable. They get 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there. They come in every night, guard the other team's best player, and shut them down for the most part.
And then just how nice is it to know, hey, these guys are going to go guard the best player. I can go kind of just play my game offensively while still doing my part on defense, but you don't have to go shut those guys down because Kayvon and Carter are going to do such a good job.
Yeah, they've really taken that. They know that's their role is to stop their best player, and it's really takes like a weight off me, Caydon, Andrew's shoulders that we can just relax and really focus on our offense.
They kind of make it like their identity, like that's why they're out there, and they take pride in it.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because that's not the most glamorous or the most fun thing to do. But when you get kids to buy into stuff like that, then that's when you start having really successful seasons. And I think that it just comes with maturity, experience, understanding that, hey, I've got to be the best at whatever role I am. And if you get kids to do that, then success will follow. And obviously that's played a huge factor in your guys' start.
So you mentioned, Kayvon, Carter, Noah also. So those are guys that kind of came up through the JV level, where you guys kind of went to the varsity early. Just can you talk about how important your entire coaching staff is to helping you guys get to where you're going? Because sometimes people don't pay attention to those lower levels because you're just looking at the varsity. Now, obviously, over at that game a couple weeks ago, if you didn't watch the freshman JV game, you weren't watching the varsity game. But how much does your guys' whole staff help you guys?
Yeah, Coach DeMarco does a great job with all our younger guys. He's mostly our skill coach. Throughout all off season, me, Caydon, and Noah were always in the gym with Coach DeMarco, working, and he does a really good job with the younger guys. He played in college, so he really knows like how it should be, and he does a really good job.
I feel like both coaches are some of the best we'll probably see. Coach Beard and Coach DeMarco, they're always on the same page. They always know what they're talking about, and a lot of the guys listen to them. So like, it's not like any question in the coach or anything like that. They listen, and then we get better like that.
Yeah, having coaches that you buy into, and that they buy into you, makes it even better, makes it a stronger program as a whole. So, who do you guys have this week?
Courthouse. Yeah, Courthouse this week.
Well, then you just saw. I mean, obviously, we talked a little bit about the Circleville Miami Trace game a second ago, but I mean, Courthouse just beat Miami Trace, so obviously, you know that they're going to be coming in a well-coached team, and you have to be ready to play over at Courthouse. Do they still? Okay, I haven't been there for a couple of years. Do they still put the band directly behind your bench? Because that was awful.
I don't think so. I don't
think remember that?
Yeah, it was loud. I don't think they do that anymore. You should be glad they don't.
Yeah, that's almost like that was almost like having the student section right behind the bench, but it's just like you're hearing just drums all the time. Yeah. It was awful. Yeah. But your guys' league, just you talked about the non-league a little bit, but just how much fun is it to play in your league where you're really getting to compete each and every night? Because even McLean goes out. They're over 500 at this point, and have some really solid players as well. So it's 1 through 6. It's a challenge every night.
Yeah, I'd say our league is probably the best it's been in a couple years. My dad sent me the Division III rankings this morning, and there were 3 top 25 teams in our league. So every night we go to league play. It's going to be a battle. And especially teams like Greenfield. It's probably the best Greenfield team they've had in a while, and they gave us a run for it when we played them at their place. So we have to be ready every night we go out, and we can't underestimate anyone.
It's kind of like everybody's almost beating each other, so it's not like there's like a low man on the totem pole at all. I mean, Courthouse beat Trace beat Jackson, and then Trace beat us. So it's like there's not really a top dog. It's kind of like everybody's equal right now.
You guys haven't played Jackson yet?
Nope.
No, and they had a big win last night,
Yeah.
So it is. I mean, like, and even if, let's say that all these teams weren't as successful, it's league play, so it's going to be, you've been playing against these guys forever. Now you get really talented combined with those rivals, man. It's just it makes it fun, for fans to watch, obviously, for players to play, and you always want to play in those tough games, and they got a lot of that coming up here in the next couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll ask Caydon. I'll ask you this because I definitely never did it. How much fun is it to dunk in games?
It's pretty awesome, especially in like a close rival game, and you get a dunk and the whole crowd goes crazy. It's probably one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah, because like just watching that, I mean, that's how you started your season. Like it's a pretty good way to start. So now you got to finish, a big tournament game with one, get a steal and run out for a dunk, and
that's awesome. Yeah.
Or just dunk over somebody. Like that's something I didn't make layups over people. So, but just overall, what can you guys, what are you looking forward to the most throughout the rest of the season? Because I mean, you got a lot of tough games. You still obviously have a chance in league play because you guys only have the one league loss, so you take care of business. But is it just kind of the challenge of the playing, or just playing together and everything?
I think we really just need to focus on winning. I feel like if we just keep winning, that we're just going to want to keep showing up and just doing our best every single night. And we do have a goal at the end of the year, and we're going to keep working towards that until the end of the year shows it.
I think a lot of it begins in practice too. We don't take days off in practice. We're always competing. We're a competitive bunch. Nobody likes to lose. We start with this every practice. We start with the driver drill. We go 5 spots and we play one-on-one, and we like pair up skill level wise. And nobody likes to lose us. So I think that brings the competitiveness and like the want to win.
Well, and then that's just going to make like a Kayvon and Carter better at guarding when they've got to deal with you guys every day in practice. So I mean, that's going to ultimately like. It's not a day off, never a night off for him, but I'm sure like going from practicing against you guys to some of the people that are like, okay, this isn't too bad. But Coach, you got anything else?
No, I mean, just like it's, it's the start of the new year now, 2026, and for you, Coop, obviously, if you think back how fast the last 3 years have gone, and even how fast the start of your senior year has gone, is the biggest thing I would say. And even for you, Caydon, as a junior, it just goes so fast. And just make sure that you really stay in the moment and soak it all up, and no days off, because it does go so fast and you don't get them back. It's cliche to say, but it's the truth. And you guys are off to a great start, and hopefully you guys can continue that and just stay in the moment and keep working.
Thank you.
So, guys, we appreciate you coming in. Hang right with us. We'll be right back in just a moment with some coaches on the Haynes-Style Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. Welcome back. You are watching the Haynes-Toll Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. My name is John Bruce, along with Matt Hoops. We just had 3 really good guests in, and now we will have our first coach on the line. Joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Norm Persin from South Webster. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing fine. How about you guys?
We're doing well, Coach. It's been a nice start to the season for you guys, 7-1 start. Can you tell us a little bit about how your season's gone so far?
Well, naturally we're happy with, where our record is. This has kind of been a questionable type of team we have. We've only got 2 players with any varsity experience at all. But those 2 guys have been, played very well for us this year. Bryson McClintock and Hunter Bernard. Everybody else has had no varsity experience, basically. They were JV kids or we're starting a freshman in the post. So it's kind of like an inexperienced team. So at this point in time, I got to be happy with the way things are going. It's going to be a situation for us to just get better and better as the year goes on, because once we get in the SOC, which we are right now since we played Minford on Friday, the SOC this year is just absolutely brutal. I mean, you could just, on any given night, anybody can beat anybody on a given night. So we just want to try to get better and prepare ourselves towards the end of the year.
Yeah, Coach, obviously coming off of the season you guys had last year and only returning 2 starters, and I know you've been doing this for a little while, but how does this season's teams, because you've had lots of teams that have a lot of success and then you have to bring them back, what is this team doing that may be a little bit different to get off to that 7-1 start, even with a little bit of experience they do have?
Well, basically we share the ball very well. This group of kids, they really like playing together with each other, and it just doesn't. It's not just kind of like one guy. Basically, everything, it goes through Bryson, it goes through Hunter. We've had some nights where other guys have stepped up, and we're going to need that to continue to happen with us. They play as hard as you can play. They're fun to watch. They get up and down the court. We're pretty athletic basketball team, really. We're very athletic. We're very quick. So, we got to live on that.
So when you mentioned the freshman it's Easton, correct? Large?
Yeah, Easton Large.
How is he kind of mixed? And I've seen his numbers, and I saw a little bit of film on him earlier. We're going to see him on Friday in person, but can you just talk about how he's kind of acclimated himself to the varsity game for you guys?
Well, first of all, when you're a freshman, you got to understand the speed of the game. It just goes so much quicker. You're not jumping from JVs to varsity. You're jumping from 8th grade to varsity. So the speed of the game has basically changed for him. If you know Easton, he's got a great shooting touch. He's got great footwork in the post, great hands. He's a type of kid that can stamp outside and hit a 3 for you. And he's just going to get better and better as time goes on. The sky's the limit for him probably before he graduates. He's a very respectable kid. He loves coaching. He listens to everything we do. He wants to get better. So things are going to look really good for him before it's over.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned going from junior high to the varsity level. That's a huge jump. But not only, he's going from playing with kids his own age to now so many different ages and experience, and for kids to be able to handle those types of situations as a freshman, typically those are the ones that end up really special players.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And, we know that in the back of our mind, as coaches. And, we know there's going to be highs and lows with him. But, when you got a young kid like that, you just got to go with it. There can be times like in a game where he's just kind of like not showing up. And before you know it, you sit him down, you talk to him a little bit, and he goes back out there and he does some great things for us. He gets on the glass, he scores. And, things like that will really help him as the season progresses.
So how much having those seniors back that have done so much winning at the varsity level, like a Hunter and then, Bryson, how much have they helped him kind of grow and then kind of just leadership wise for your team overall?
Well, they kind of take him to side a little bit, and they understand that. And I talked to them beginning of the year, and what people I don't know. I guess people do realize that we lost this summer. Maybe
Bo, yeah.
one of our top players, in both Stevens. Bo is just he's an athletic freak. He's physical. He's strong. He can shoot it. He tore his ACL this summer. So that set us back quite a bit where we had to put more pressure on Easton to get him going earlier in the year. So I think our seniors, the two seniors that are, leading our team, they expect that, at that point in time. So, everybody has injuries. This was just a crucial one for us, especially to have him to go out in the summer and, he wasn't able to play soccer. He's not able to play basketball. He won't be able to play baseball his senior year. It's just something that you hate to see for a fine young man.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you said, people have them, but usually if they're going to happen, you always hope that it's like maybe a short term and maybe it's one of those seasons. But a kid that plays 3 sports, that's really tough to hear. So kind of going back into the season a little bit, you talked about how tough the SOC3 is anyway, but this week with Waverly on Tuesday and then at West on Friday, can you just talk about just the depth of that league that you guys have this year?
Well, our schedule is a little bit crazy. We play at home on Tuesday, playing against a very, very good Waverly team. They got great players. The kids are, pretty well seasoned for the most part, even though they don't have a senior on the team. But at the same point in time, we have them at home. And we're on the road for 6 straight. I told our kids it's like playing in the NBA. We're not going to see our home court for a while, but then we come back and we got 6 at home. So it's just crazy. What we want to do right now, we just got to take it one game at a time, to play up to our limits and our capabilities and just hope good things happen.
Yeah, and then you've coached a little bit. So have you ever had just a road home trip like that before, where you just have such an extended time either at home or away?
Not that I can remember, and kind of like in all the years I've been coaching, I always try to and setting up scrimmages for the most part. I like to do most of my scrimmages on the road. Just so our kids get accustomed to playing, in different facilities against different teams. Even though they're only scrimmages, but a situation like that, you try to help them out through that. So, it's just something that happens, and it's sometimes it's the way the ball bounces, and that's what happened to us. And hey, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to go out and you got to play.
And then I try to ask like some just weird question from time to time, but have you ever experienced a better mascot than your guys' Jeep mascot? Because your Jeep mascot is outstanding, and we enjoy seeing it every time we see it.
Oh, it's just outstanding, and the community loves the Jeep. And when I first took over, this is my 3rd year there. When they asked me if I wanted to come out of retirement and coach, and I said okay, and I got on them and I said, hey, we got to do away with this Jeep. So, and then they were just, they're getting all over me about it. I was just kidding. They thought I was serious and stuff of that nature. But it's just something that it happens, and it's like you said, it is incredible. It's totally different. Like last year. We went to play in Indiana at the Hoosier gym, and we played against a team called the Jeeps also. So it was the Battle of the Jeeps. So that was kind of phenomenal, and when the guy called, he said, hey, man, we got a Jeeps in Indiana. Would you like to play them? Because nobody else has got that nickname.
That's probably the only two that it's ever happened. I can't imagine that ever happening.
No, it'd be tough if there was anymore,
Yeah.
Like I said, that was kind of weird, but, it was a great experience for us. Our kids, our community loved it, and it was great. It was really nice.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to come on with us tonight, and we know you got a big week ahead of you. We'll actually have the live stream over at West on Friday, so we'll see you down there, and we hope to hear from you again soon, and best of luck to you throughout the season.
Well, I appreciate it. Anything I can do for you guys, don't hesitate to let me know and stuff like that. So, we're all in this together. You guys do your job, we do our job, and that's what makes sports so great.
Oh, 100% agree. So thank you, Coach. We appreciate you.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Jeeps versus Jeeps. Now, when I was in school, we went down and we played. We were good. If we would have won a game or they would have won a game in soccer, it would have been the Jeeps against the tanks. And we were like, oh, that's a military thing. It was like, no, we didn't know that it was the thing from Popeye.
Yeah, the first time I had ever heard of, I think Unioto on their state tournament run in the 90-91 season, they played Southwest for the Jeep. But they played like a couple different, like they played the Jeeps, they played the ceramics.
The Zeps.
Yeah, there were a lot of different, and they actually played Coach Pearson's Chesapeake team to get to the state tournament, which kind of weird.
Yep. So we'll be at Coach Norm Pearson's court tomorrow, actually in Chesapeake. So I didn't want to bring that up just to throw it out there. But now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Joe Briggs from Wellston. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you?
We're doing well. We appreciate you taking some time here on a Sunday night to join us. And you guys on the season, off to a 6-2 start after a season a year ago with only the 4 wins. Can you tell us kind of what's kind of helped make that turnaround happen?
Again, I appreciate you guys making me a part of the show tonight, so thank you. But I think one of the biggest changes we've had, this year compared to last year, we've leaned heavily on our seniors. I think our leadership has been outstanding from our 4 seniors, Rylan Long, Justin Jackson, Devin Barnhill, and Carson McCorkle. But we've made a consistent effort as a team on the defensive end, trying to play more together and understanding that that's the one aspect of the game that we can control nightly. Our effort in trying to make our opponent, take tough shots. So I think the kids have been pretty connected defensively, and that's helped us, get off to a pretty good start this year. And then, offensively, I think our decision-making this year compared to last year has been, much improved. I was looking at our stats a couple days ago, and I think, all out of our 8 games, I think there was 1 game where we were at 9 team assists, and the rest have been 14, 15, 18, and 19. So we're sharing the basketball better, making better decisions, on the offensive end.
Coach, I know you just spoke about your defense. Do you think that your guys realize how much easier it is to play offense when your defense is kind of contributing to that?
I think that spark, it kind of happened in the preseason in a couple of our scrimmages. Our first scrimmage out, we were kind of struggling to score the basketball, and then we, kind of amped up our defensive pressure a little bit, got a couple runouts, and then our confidence. And like you said, I think they're starting to see, we keep trying to stress to them that we're going to, we got to win the game on the defensive end. And, our MO is kind of win defensively and make some shots offensively and just kind of, let the cards fall where they may. But I do think the connection is starting to be seen by the kids, and hopefully that continues.
Yeah, and that makes things a little bit easier when they can connect those things. And it sounds like you have a really nice senior group. Do you have any younger kids as well that are able to contribute?
Yeah, we've got like I said, we've shared the basketball very well this year. Actually, going into our 9th game, we've got we've had 6 guys score double figures, and 5 of them have done it multiple times. Where our leading scorer is a junior. He was our leading scorer last year. He's had 7 games where he's been over double figures. He's around 18 points a game, and that's Wes Briggs. We've got Justin Jackson, a senior, like I talked about, their leadership. He's our 2nd leading scorer. He's at about 15 a game. He's had 5 double-figure games for us, so he's been a strong contributor. Some of our younger guys, though, we've got some guys off the bench that have done well. We start a sophomore, Braxton Ingalls. His effort defensively, him and Rylan Long, he's a senior. Those two, we asked them to guard the primary ball handlers, the best shooter on our, on the opposition, and they're both doing a great job, and they've had double-figure games. Owen Kilgore, a junior, has done well. He's had 3 double-figure games for us. Noah Jackson comes off the bench. He's a really, really good shooter. I think he's had 2 games where he's hit 4 threes for us. So we've had some younger guys contribute as well.
Well, you mentioned Ingalls, and if he's as good in basketball as he is in baseball, then you've got a really special player. Because man, I saw him in the spring over at the VA, and I was like, man, this dude can play. And then found out he was a freshman. I was like, like the TVC's gonna have an issue for a while.
I call him a little bulldog because he's a very coachable kid. You never get anything negative out of the kid, and that in itself kind of contributes to the successes he has. he's had as a baseball and as a basketball player. But yeah, he's an outstanding player.
Coach, what does your week look like coming back into the beginning part of the new year?
Well, we've had a decent little layoff between, we didn't play any games. Our last game was December 22nd, and then we came back January 3rd. Obviously, we came back to a disappointing loss last night. It was a hard-fought game. I told our kids they played hard, just, maybe a little bit of rust, but for the most part, I thought Piketon made shots and we didn't at some clutch times, and that was kind of the difference in the game. Credit to Piketon, they played hard. But we knew we were coming back with a tough stretch because we have 3 straight road games. We started with Piketon. We got to go to Fed Hawk, which is always a very tough place to play, and they're playing much better on Tuesday. And then we've got, a league rivalry game at Benton County on Friday. So we know we have a difficult stretch coming back, and hopefully we can bounce back on Tuesday night.
Yeah, just get ready for a lot of kind of maroon. I guess Piketon isn't completely maroon, but the other two definitely are. But those are not easy places to play at all. And can you talk a little bit about how the TVC Ohio is this year? Speaking of maroon, with Megs at the top, but just kind of how things have kind of played out so far for you guys in that league.
Right now we're 3-1 in the league, and we did drop one of our 2 losses was to Megs. Honestly. And it's still early. We had a game snowed out against Athens that we have to make up. We haven't played Benton County yet. But based on the way it's shaking out right now, it's probably safe to put, Megs as the clear favorites. And then after that, if I'm honest, I think night in and night out, anyone can beat anyone. That, you got to win. You got to protect yourself when you're at home and try to steal some road games to, try to hopefully finish up somewhere near the top of the league, because it is very, very, there's a lot of parity from 2 to 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then when you have that parity, it does. I think ultimately it makes your team a little bit better, because then you got to focus in each and every night, which also whenever you are coming off a tough season where you start having that start to the winning season. We just had a couple of kids from Chillicothe in here of winning's contagious, and you just want to keep doing it. So you want to do the little things like that. So have you seen that through practice and whatnot of just, it sounds like they're doing the little things, but are they helping carry that over in practice and make sure everyone's as focused as possible?
And really, that's where we've leaned on our seniors. That's why I wanted to open to make sure I mentioned those 4 guys, because they're the ones that, and their leadership isn't just showing up, on Tuesdays and Fridays or Mondays and Thursdays. It's showing up, the 6 days a week that we're in the gym, whether it's a game or it's a practice during our workouts. They keep us motivated. They keep the kids focused. And I've told them that, this is their senior season, and that, there's some goals that they've set for themselves that are lofty goals, but I think are attainable. And I told them that, I need to lean on them to help hold this team accountable as much as they're going to lean on me to do it. And so far they've done it. I've been very, very pleased with those 4 young men.
Well, that's always a positive thing, and that sounds like it's going to be a kind of recipe for an overall successful season for you guys. And Coach, we appreciate you taking some time here on Sunday night to join us, and we wish you the best of luck throughout the rest of the season, and we hope to hear from you again later on in the season.
I appreciate it, and thank you. Good talking to you.
Yep, thank you.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just and that's a Wellston program that's traditionally, like from what I remember, always been pretty strong, and sounds like it's a good thing that they're starting to move things back forward.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things he said there was the leadership from his 4 seniors. Player-led teams are the really good ones. And
yes.
If you can count on your guys to do things the right way, and you can kind of just guide them a little bit, usually produces really good results.
Yeah, and it's, as you said, player-led teams typically end with pretty successful seasons overall. And speaking of people that are having successful seasons to start, joining us now on the Edward Jones Coach's Hotline from Washington is Coach Shannon Bartruff. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
He's doing better now that our Browns won, right, Coach?
You beat me to it.
Well, he's got a jersey on. We gave him some SOSA swag, and he just won't wear it because the Browns keep winning.
Do you blame me?
Who are you talking about? Coach Hoops?
Yeah.
Are you talking about? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't blame you. I mean, we beat the Steelers and we beat the Bengals and we get the sack record. So, I mean, it's a good day to be a Browns fan. I honestly thought, I'm sitting here thinking, like, historic milestone, and we're going to lose this game.
Exactly. I wasn't wearing a jersey tonight if they lost. If they lost the game,
Burrow
Sosa
goes right
shirt
down the
on.
field.
Yep.
Yeah, we had it on here. Like we had we do our overtime show before. It was me and Shannon here, and next door was our Derek Webb, and he's watching it and just yelling. Like you can probably hear it if you watch it. This like when Burrow did score, but also kind of when he went down, he's like, "Oh, he just went down." I'm like, well, I think if Myles Garrett's coming at you, you're going to avoid contact as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the Brett Favre, like the acrimonious, he beat him off the ball so fast. I think Burrow's just, I don't want another surgery, and I'd like to make it through the rest of this game.
Exactly.
Right. He saw about 5 minutes left of the season and was like, I'm going to get out of this healthy. Smart move.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
100.
Have you guys have you seen Myles Garrett on a basketball court?
It's ridiculous. I've seen it.
Ridiculous. My kids, like my boys, and anytime you guys hear me say my boys, I'm talking about the guys I coach.
Mm-hmm.
I showed them a couple clips of him like taking off from the second or third block, windmill, 2-hand back scratch. I mean, just going crazy. And they're like, how can a guy this big do this?
Yeah,
he's not normal.
Yeah, he's a freak. I think it'd probably been pretty nice to have him on your side, but you should probably pay some other guys as well. But Coach, so pretty nice.
We're not going to talk about Browns the whole time.
No, we did call you early, so we're kind of catching up on some time on that. So but I'm sure you have something positive you want to talk about here in a second. So you guys started off 2-3, now 7-3. Can you talk about that McDonald's holiday tournament win for you guys?
I mean, I'll talk about the tournament. No shade to Mr. Epifano, but as a coach, had zero desire to be in that thing. Coach Hoops can probably speak to this. I mean, could you imagine back in the day if you had Chile in your league and then you sign up for a holiday tournament to play them potentially one more time to make it 3 in the season? You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, that game has so many layers anyways. You know, Ben and I have known each other forever. There's some other stuff, you know, just being in a small town that adds into that. And long story short, we had to cancel 2 games. Like, our schedule was done. We were supposed to play Bloom Carroll and we were supposed to play Lynchburg. And then I kind of got voluntold that we were playing in that game or in that tournament. And, you know, long story short, I mean, it worked out fine. But, I mean, all it did is, you know, I mean, and it was going to be that environment anyways. Mm-hmm. But, you know, now we got to go back there in less than 2 weeks, and it's going to be a hornet's nest, you know. And, I mean, I'm excited for it, and the community will be excited for it. But, I mean, just as a coach, it's, you know, coaching hoops, especially in the FAC right now, in our schedule, it's hard enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really need a whole lot of extra motivation from other teams, but we'll take the win. It was a gritty performance. Honestly, watching the film, I didn't really think we played great. But again, you know, you guys have watched a lot of ball. Sometimes those big games, those kind of like intense rivalries, whatever, I don't know that you always get the cleanest game. Adam, the Guthrie kid's crazy hard to officiate. I thought Sean Willie and his group, you know, did a decent job. I mean, I'm never happy when it comes to that, but I mean, it's just he's so big. It's just so hard to officiate. And I'm sure Coach Ackley on the other side, you know, is not very happy a lot of the times either, because he feels like he's getting murdered in there, and there's no fouls called. But you know, honestly, I felt like he probably thinks that they should have won by 8 or 10. They missed some shots that maybe they normally make. But I feel like maybe that on the other end too. We had a couple run outs that I thought Noah could have dunked and finished towards the end of the game. We drew up a sideline out of bounds on a timeout, and it would have been a layup, and it was just a miscommunication. It was my fault for not explaining it more explicitly. And we kind of tried to deke one of their players, and we deked our own guy and handed it to them, and they took it down and scored an easy 2. So the kids were pumped. It was an awesome atmosphere. I had a couple kids that ended up making the tournament team and our MVP that, kids that basically Trace didn't guard. And those guys stepped up, and we knew that going in. That's how they always kind of play us. They always kind of just don't guard somebody. And we just kind of tell that guy going in, like, hey, we're going to put you in opportunities where you got to make plays.
Coach, do you think that now, obviously having to play them again, and I don't want to speak for anyone in terms of philosophy or things like that, but, that's probably going to change a little bit of how they approach it next time, which is going to maybe benefit you, because now your guys that you really rely on aren't going to be maybe getting as much attention or help.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably play it pretty similar, but I also, I had a full day of basketball yesterday. We had practice at 8 a.m. and we went to New Albany to watch Chillicothe play New Albany, and then came back and watched Trace play Circleville. And his comments on the radio after the game were basically a lot geared toward us, which surprised me a little bit, but it was also basically just saying we're making tweaks to our offense. And this is him speaking, and the offense that we played against them the first time that we saw, we're trying to guard defensively, we're not going to see again. And he even intimated that in the game last night. Felt like that cost them the Circleville game a little bit because they're trying to put some new stuff in. They're retooling their offense. So he does a great job of switching stuff up. I feel like it's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have 7 days to prep for them. Just like Chili's gonna have 7 days or 5 or 6 days to get ready for us. They don't play Tuesday, and they got us on Friday, and it's kind of the same boat the next week for us with Miami Trace. So there'll be adjustments that will have to be made. And they're a crazy tough matchup for us.
I think they're a tough matchup for anyone. I mean, just when you have him inside and then all those athletes around him, it's tough.
Yep. And it makes that's what people don't understand watching the game. Like, it just makes offense so easy. I mean, when you can just throw it in and you know that something good's probably going to happen, you're probably going to get fouled, which is a team foul. It's probably there's a chance for an and one, or you just dump it in. All the eyes go to him. You can cut off of him. You get layups. It smashes the defense down. It makes kickouts easy. Now you got to close out again. It's just, he's a nightmare. And I mean, it's just sometimes, I mean, it's probably tough for their staff at times and Coach Ackley to try to not get too creative and just keep it simple and throw the ball to 33 and play.
Yeah, because he makes such good decisions in the post that it just makes it, I'm sure there are some kids you could throw it into and they would just make the wrong choice, but he's making the good choice, and that just makes it even more difficult.
Willing passer, always under control, normally, faces up and sees the floor. I I feel like he's gotten better every year. And I can't wait till he graduates.
There's not another one. Is there another one? Because
I don't know.
When the one
really
graduates, then here's the other. Like, it's just, my goodness.
Tongue in cheek, there might be one that moves in.
We'll see. So in the future on that, but you mentioned Chillicothe this week. Can you just talk about just the depth of what the FAC is able to bring this year? Because obviously Chillicothe has some really special talent. Jackson is Jackson, and then Jack Hallen just scored 1,000 points in his 50th career game. So it's like, and McLean's better. So the FAC just seems like it's a nightmare each night.
It is, honestly. And I don't know. I feel like we don't always get a lot of love when we get to tournament time, and some of that has to do with, this year with the divisions changing. And I'm not even sure a lot of these people are aware of it. I don't know how much they really pay attention to these divisional breakdowns that come out from the OHSA. But Hillsborough and Jackson moved up to D3,
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got Chile, Trace, Hillsborough, and Jackson are all D3. In our conference, and it's us and McLean are the only D4s left. So not only are we playing us and McLean playing bigger schools, when those teams get to the tournament, it's now you're playing. They're usually one of the smaller D3s in D3, and you're playing big boys. I just saw the other night Marietta beat Meigs by 30 or something like that. And that's a Division III team that's in there, and then you got a mini conference tournament with Trace, Chile, Jackson, and Hillsboro, which is what we used to have to deal with, for years. But the FAC is loaded. Top to bottom, you have really good coaches. And how many? We got 3 of them that used to be on the girls' side. Somebody told me that the other night, and I really didn't think about it. But you got Coach Beard, Coach Ackley, and Coach Haynes. And there's no cupcakes. All right, so we go play Hillsboro. They're 0-5 or 6 or whatever when we go down there, and you got a kid that can throw a 30 ball on you any given night, and that's going to keep you in most high school games. They throw a little zone at you and make you uncomfortable, and all of a sudden it's a nail biter into the third quarter, and it's like that everywhere. I mean, the McLean kid, the Bell kid, I mean, he can pop off and score 24, 25 every night. And then you go top end, you got Trace that won a million games in a row and, has a bunch of athletes, get to move in from Massey that just adds to the coffers. And you got Chile, who we go play, or we go watch yesterday. And I'm talking to my kids and I'm like, man, I'm kind of happy that this kid will be gone and this kid will be gone. And they're all juniors, coach. They're losing. They lose Stoneking.
Yep,
Is that it?
Yeah.
And then maybe one kid off the bench. And they are huge. They are crazy athletic. They play hard. New Albany ended up blowing them out, but that score is not even remotely indicative to what that game was. Stoneking didn't play like he normally plays, and some of that probably had to do with New Albany. I mean, they're big and physical and well coached, and they guard. And they got a kid that's going to Toledo that had 30. He's a bucket every time down the floor. But I mean, Chile is what Chile was when I first started coaching.
Yeah, they got a lot of length and athleticism, and I think what they've really done really well now is, and I just talked to the 2 Chillicothe kids in here, is they play their role extremely well.
They do. They're not selfish at all. They've got kids that can. I mean, the Hammond kid scored 12 straight for them and had a 15 quarter, and then comes out the next quarter and scores like the first 6 or something against New Albany. I mean, he was keeping them single-handedly in the game. And tough middies, off the bounce, can knock down a 3, is 6'5", has lost some of his baby fat. The Cox kid can put it on the deck, go both directions. I mean, I really like to enjoy his conversation, so I'm going to quit talking about how good Chillicothe is. I mean, Jackson's got their team that's had, 4 years of starters. Those kids were all young pups. They took lumps for a year or so. And they just, I was shocked. I get home last night after watching Trace in Circleville and click on YouTube. And I was following the score. The last I saw it was 30-20 versus Unioto, and the game's already over, but I peek into the fourth quarter and it's like 40-something to 20-something. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense to me. I mean, these two teams to me are like on like, but I mean, Jackson can do that to you because they switch everything. Every kid's the same. He's going to catch a drive in the chest. And if you're not making shots, I mean, they can smother you. They're really, really good. Our league it's loaded, and you better be ready to go every single night, or you're going to get embarrassed.
Yeah, just 100% agree with that. Just based off of what we've seen so far this year, it's been very impressive, and you guys have had a great start to the year. And Coach, we appreciate you taking some time here on Sunday night with us to enjoy a little bit of the Browns finishing the season, and then to talk a little bit about basketball. And we'd love to have you on again here soon.
Yeah, it's nice of you guys to get somebody above Route 35 for once. Like, I didn't even know. I thought SOSA was Southern Ohio. I guess we're not far enough south. I mean, we get no games, we get no love, no nothing. You got to be in the SBC to get on this program.
Hey,
we're working on it.
I think once they found out that you moved the band away from the visitors bench. I think
Is
they'll
that
show
what
up
it
now.
was? Well, you know what? Hey, our pep band only plays like 5 or 6 times now because a lot of the kids have other stuff going on and they work, and it's hard for him to get them in. So, I mean, you got out at the wrong time. If you'd have hung on a couple more years, you'd been fine.
Oh man, I mean, this is a conversation you and I used to always have. Like,
I know
they were phenomenal.
Yes.
they still are, but they are on the other side now.
Yeah,
That's probably for the best for the other teams, but maybe not for you guys. So, Coach,
Go ahead.
yeah, we appreciate it. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Have a good
thanks,
one.
Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
I always like whenever we'd go down to the seatings and to see him and Prince and those guys.
it's just you know he and I and a couple other coaches when we were young into this. I mean, we would actually drive to the tournament seatings together, and just those are the the good dudes you meet in coaching, and it's one of the perks, I guess, of it.
Yeah.
You end up you compete against their teams, and you have a lot of respect for people, especially when they do it the right way. And Coach Bartruff's one of those guys for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then now we're gonna have another coach on that does things the right way. Calling in on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Jeff Miller from Unioto. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good, John.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking some time and letting us call you tonight.
Not a problem whatsoever.
Yeah, so I mentioned this to you earlier. Like you guys beat Circleville on Monday, and it felt like it was like 2 weeks ago. Has this been like a weirdly fast and slow kind of holiday break for you guys?
Yeah, you're right in saying like it seems like I don't know. I seem like I've been on break forever, but we have played a couple games. But like you said, it's just I don't know if it's just the way it fell as far as weeks are concerned, but you're exactly right. But the one thing too is like we played the 29th, I think was when we played Circleville. And then, for me, I turn around and I've got the Ohio State Bowl game 2 days later. So, I'm kind of into that. And then obviously today I had to watch about one of the worst NFL games of my life, watch the Bengals play.
I wasn't even going to say anything. I was going to let you bring that up.
Well, I do have a question, honestly, for you, Hoops, real quick. So
I do all the question asking on this.
Not tonight. Sorry. in 1995, how many sacks did you have?
95. Well,
or whenever you see. What year did you have a bunch of sacks?
Well, it wasn't my senior year because I was really mad at them because they made me play quarterback and told me I couldn't play defensive end until the team got on the our side of the field. So not as many. It was my junior year.
Okay,
it was my junior year.
Junior year, and you had double digits, I think, sacks. Is that correct?
13 and a half.
13 and a half. Did you have to tackle the quarterback in order to get a sack?
Yes, but.
Okay.
They weren't making as much money as Joe Burrow's making, and he hasn't had as many injuries as Joe Burrow's has had.
Here's the problem. I mean, I know you're a Browns fan. Myles Garrett breaks a record today and didn't tackle the quarterback and got a sack. I just don't understand.
You just got to touch him down.
If that had been the rule in 1994 or whatever, you'd have had 45 sacks that year.
I know. It's a shame.
I don't know, just think about that. Go sleep on that one tonight.
I'm not in this for individual accolades. I just know that, the Browns ended the season on a 2-game winning streak against Pittsburgh and the Bengals, and we basically feel like we won the Super Bowl.
Okay, let's go on to basketball now, all right?
So, just going on to basketball. So I'll get to kind of the layup question for you at the end. So we'll ask about, coaching someone like Miley. But your sophomores, I thought your sophomores played really well in that Circleville game. It felt like they kind of played some bigger roles different times. Can you just talk about the growth of what they've been able to do so far for this year for you guys, even outside of just Kiera?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you look at our team, you're obviously most of the time you're going to talk about Miley Smith, Maggie Holbert, Kiera Beard. And some of these, especially like you're mentioning the sophomores, but man, the sophomore group is a really good group as a whole. And you know, it's kind of weird this year with our numbers being low. I've really had to play some of those kids on the JV level just to make sure we get JV games in and to make sure they're getting the minutes that they need. But like the other night, I thought Charlotte Dennis, sophomore, was really good defensively on the Edgington kid. I mean, I thought she did a phenomenal job on her. Kylie Puckett came in, did a great job defensively, handled the ball when she had to, made some great passes. Jillian Matthew brought some toughness to it. So, and then, you know, obviously Kira Beard. So I just mentioned 4 or 5 sophomores who, you know, were really critical in that game the other night. So that's a really good class that, you know, we're looking forward to having them for a couple more years too.
Yeah, Coach, I can specifically remember one of the plays that your 2 sophomores were combined in was when Puckett drove at baseline and a nice little bounce path to Matthew for a shot at kind of a critical part of that game. And I thought to myself, you know, that's a nice play by two young players in a really big game. And then you mentioned Charlotte's defense on Edgington. I was standing there when you guys ran out, and I thought, man, I thought Charlotte was tall. And then I saw her.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I know.
So, yeah, just, you know, great play by those girls.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I remember that play exactly. The Puckett, it was Puckett to Matthew. And, you know, we had talked about penetrating the seams in their zone. And when they do, if they get some rotational, we got some little bounce dump passes. And, I mean, it was like picture perfect, exactly what we had worked on. You know what I mean? And that's just, it's really kind of how Kylie Puckett is. I mean, she's one of those kids that she's going to do exactly what you ask her to do. And that night we saw it in a game, you know?
Yeah. And you can't teach a kid to be coachable. And that's one of those things that you really like to see. And like Matt said, you know, that was a big play in the time, because then kind of opened some things up, and then, you know, Miley obviously got going. But even before I get into that, I felt like that was a night where they were almost just letting Maggie do whatever in that game, and she was really good in that game. Can you just talk about how Maggie's grown over the last few years, and then specifically like that night and so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, John. They showed us some triangle and 2 stuff and tried to take the ball out of Miley's hands and Kiera's hands. And I know this may sound crazy when I say this, but if I've still got Maggie Holbert out there and they're denying Kiera Beard and Miley, I'm about ready to put them in the backcourt and say, okay, we'll play 3-on-3, and I'd feel really good about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you got a really experienced player that's a really talented player as well. But it's almost like a pick your poison type of thing if you're an opposing coach. So it has to be nice to have that player where you're like, well, I'll just play 3-on-3 because you've got such a talented guard with that much experience.
Yeah, and you know, the big thing I think with Maggie too is it's the IQ. You know, not only is she talented, but she's got a really high IQ as far as the game is concerned. So when teams throw some different looks at you, you know, I don't even have to waste the timeout. I mean, she might look over and be like, hey, they're in a triangle 2. You want to look at it? Yep, you got it. Call it. You know, so the fact that she's talented and she's very bright as far as the game is concerned is an extra bonus.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, you and I have talked about her growth and her development over the last 4 years, and a kind of the start that she got off to this season, and I've talked to her about it, and wasn't where she wanted to be, and then I think she almost just took a deep breath and relaxed, and probably after the first 2 or 3 games since then, she's been really, really good.
She has. You're spot on that. You know, I mean, she'd be the first one to tell you those first couple games, and again, you know, I think if we've all been there at one point when, you know, that senior year when you're coming into it, and all of a sudden it clicks, is like, holy cow, this is the last run for me. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going through your mind, and you know, we sat down, we talked about that, and once she settled in, she's been really good for the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and that's something that's really good to see throughout the year is, you know, the finality of everything is coming up for everybody, and you start to realize it at different times. Sometimes you realize it really early, and it sounded like she did early, but has really adjusted to it. So just kind of got into Miley. Over 1,600 points. She's closing in on some big time players in Unioto history. Can you just talk about like what she's been able to do throughout her career, like kind of how special she's been. I mean, her shooting numbers have gotten better and better throughout the year as well after kind of a slow start, and just kind of just what she's meant to Unioto basketball.
Yeah, I mean, and there's, like you said, John, there's been a lot of good girl players that have come through that program, you know, long before I took over, some really special kids that have come through there. And I mean, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, that I think Miley Smith is the best player that's come through our school as far as girls basketball is concerned. And maybe, honestly, I mean, I would say even in the county, possibly, I could argue that. But she's just a kid who could she could just do a little bit of everything. You know, she handles the ball. She sees the floor. She can shoot. She can drive. She can play defense. She rebounds. She really can do. There's nothing on the basketball court that she can't do. But keep in mind, too, that I think her biggest strength is she's all about the team. You know, she's a kid. She's honestly a kid, I think, who if she would have come into high school and been like, you know what, I want to score 2,500 points, I don't even think that would have been a question. She could have done that. But you look at her stats. She takes 15 shots a game, 16 shots a game. I mean, how many kids do you see averaging 20 plus that are taking 15 shots a game? You know, for instance, we had a game this year at one point where at halftime she had 20. I think she had 20. And, you know, I mentioned, like, you know, what our single game record is. And I said, hey, this might be a game that you might want to go out there. And she's like, you know what? Nah. She goes, let's just make sure everyone has a good game. She takes one shot in the second half, but has 10 assists.
Yeah.
That's just, you know, that's Miley Smith in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, and it's you want those types of kids in a program, and that's why there's been so much winning. Obviously, very talented kids, but that keeps everyone involved, and that's such a huge part of the winning culture you guys have over there.
Yeah, and I really do. I think her best days are ahead of her. You know, obviously, we have to ask a lot of her as far as, okay, we need you to handle the ball now. We need you to go score now. Hey, you're going to have to guard a post player right now. You're going to have to guard their point guard right now. You got to rebound. I mean, we ask a lot of her, and she's never shied away from it. But I think as you see her go on to the next level, when things could be more specialized, I think you're going to really see a special player. You know, I think right now Dayton's looking at her potentially as their point guard. And, you know, I think she'll end up being one of the best point guards in the A-10.
Yeah, I could see that from day one for sure. And we really look forward to following her the rest of the year and throughout. And so, Coach, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time here on Sunday night. We know you got 3 games this week in the league, and going to be a pretty busy time getting back into school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow morning.
I'll be down in your office. I got a few more questions I want to ask you.
Yeah. So,
All right.
we'll talk to you
Don't
again
wear
soon.
that Miles. Don't even wear that Miles Garrett jersey to school tomorrow.
I got a different one I'll wear.
I might sack you in the middle of the hallway if I see it.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Have a good one.
All right. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Yeah, it like just going on back to the Miley Smith thing for a second. I mean, you had Aubrey Ablin played at Old Dominion, just unbelievable. Lori McClellan played at Dayton, or Northern Kentucky. Natalie Hill played at Dayton. I mean, you've had some unbelievable players through there, and
for him to say that she might be the best, I mean, yeah. I mean, those, and we're talking about, you know, really, really good players. I can remember watching Natalie Hill play. Now, I was really young, but I was like, she was the best athlete that I'd ever seen.
Yeah, and then Aubrey Ablin scores 14 in the national championship game against Tennessee. So, I mean, it's
really good basketball players have come through Unioto for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then let's jump to a different school that's had some really nice basketball history. Joining us now on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline from Wheelersburg, Coach Alex Prater. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Great. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Off to a really nice start to the season. We'll get to that in a minute. Could you just talk about like how that whole intro thing has kind of taken over? Because you guys, I don't know if you guys went like nationally viral, but you guys were all over our area, and like I watched that probably 10 times this weekend.
Well, you know, we got quite a few NBA fans on the staff, and see some of the intros and the court projection stuff, and you know, all the credit in the world. Our assistant coach Derek Lewis he works, in that type of industry and has the expertise to kind of pull those things together. And we had looked at some different things that were out there, and he said, Coach, I think we can do this thing and do it pretty affordable. So we were able to kind of pull it all together, and yeah, it's been a great thing. Our community's responded really well to it, but as you can imagine, the phone's been blowing up with other schools trying to figure out how to pull it off.
Oh, I guarantee it, because it's just like, I know playing at Wheelersburg, you're probably going to be hyped up anyway. You guys always have a great community support. I love your guys' gym. It's just, but then you just add in something like that, and man, that's just, I feel like that just takes that to just an entire other level.
Yeah, I mean, we really pride ourselves on trying to push the envelope to how good of an experience can we make it for the kids. And, we talk a lot about being a player's first program where we just want them to have great experiences. And there's a lot of things we get into and trying to make them, well-developed young men. But if we can have something that's a little special for them, we're really proud of how hard all of our people work. And, as we get an opportunity to do something that's a little bit different, a little special, we certainly want to jump on and get that done. But it's a cool thing. Coach Lewis I know he pulled 2 all-nighters last week trying to get it ready, and just having it ready to go for everybody. But yeah, really nice thing. Excited about it. And, the thing that what you saw so far is just version 1. So there's got a lot of cool ideas to make it better even as we go. And, we had some different pictures and things in there. We've got some ideas to do some video, different things, and some historical things. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, really cool. I think I just saw it today for the first time, but it's, like you talked about, and I try to do this with our football program. You try to make it the best experience that you possibly can for as many as you possibly can. Because let's face it, not everyone's going to go on and play at the next level, and even if they do, a lot of times they'll come back and say, Coach, you kind of ruined it because what we've done and what you guys are doing is even better than what they're going to experience otherwise. So I think that you're hit it right on, man. Anytime you can get an opportunity to allow so many people to have such a great experience and something that they'll always remember is a really cool thing. So kudos for you guys for doing that.
I appreciate it. Our football program sets the bar really high. Friday nights at Ed Miller Stadium are pretty special. As you were kind of saying that, it made me think back to when I was a player here, and then you get to the next level, and it is hard. It's hard to replicate that environment, and credit to our fans and our community for coming out and creating those environments for us. But as a basketball program, we want them to have lasting memories, and just enjoy it.
Well, and then another way to have lasting memories is to put those W's on for you guys is 4-0 start. I mean, it's not like you guys have played an easy schedule coming out after football, but I don't know a lot about Lewis County, but I mean, a team that's going to make you guys score as much as you had to that night, and then Portsmouth that's getting better, Ironton's better, Waverly is a tough team. Can you just talk about what you guys have done to be able to get to this 4-0 start?
Well, we really emphasize our summer program, and part of being at Wheelersburg is that you're going to have a late start in basketball. It's just part of the game, and we're very proud of the fact that all the kids in our program are multi-sport guys. So when your soccer team goes to the Final Four and football plays for a state championship, you're going to have short preseason. That's just the reality of it. So I thought the work that we did this summer, and we always say that June is our preseason, and I thought that we had a really, really good June. We've got a lot of guys that were coming back that understood what it takes to win and understands the expectations and how we play here. So that was really, really important, having a good summer and having, that more mature, older group. You talked a little bit about our opponents. Lewis County, man, they have a heck of a player over there and just a guy that can really score. And that was a huge challenge for us to be in our first game. And then, Portsmouth and Ironton, both tough teams, tough opponents, and Waverly, my goodness, all the size that they have and really, really good guard play there. So certainly when we looked at the schedule, we knew it was going to be a challenge, but we're really proud of the kids. The reality is if we don't guard the way that we have, we're not in any of those games. And, the last 2 especially, we had to play better defense. And I keep telling people we're playing hard, but we're not playing good basketball yet. We got to go. We're nowhere close to the best version of us yet. And that's the exciting thing is, and the challenge is to we're having some success, we're winning some games, but let's be worried about us and just getting better today than what we were yesterday.
Coach, you made the comment already about, you understand it's going to be a late start. And a lot of times as a basketball coach, you gauge where you are around the holidays. At what point do you guys kind of start looking and saying, okay, we're about where we need to be at this point? Like how far, like middle of January or, because it does take a long time for them to get into a flow and be able to play the game of basketball, the way you want them to.
Yeah, I think for us, winning the league is really important to us, and so we try to be, close to where we need to be as a basketball team by league play. Which the new format helps us because we don't play a league game until after January 1. So it's still around the holidays. It's around that January 1 mark where we want to kind of look and see where we're at and where we need to adjust. But it's just a little bit accelerated for us.
Right.
We don't have quite a bit games under our belt and things. Last season I thought it was I didn't think we played our best basketball till February. Mm-hmm. And we were banged up, we were hurt, we battled some injuries and stuff, and we faced a ton of adversity last year. But I think that the lessons we learned through that stretch last year has really helped us this year. We've adjusted a little bit in our routine and what we do with the kids. It's a fine line. You're trying to get them in shape, try to get basketball legs under them, but you got to be careful too. We can't run them in the ground and increase those injuries. And I thought last year that we learned some things, and we look fresher right now. We look healthier right now. Kudos to Coach Woodward. He made a lot of investment, and Coach has been winning a long time at a really high level. But the thing I respect most about him is he's willing to adjust and grow, and he made some changes to the strength conditioning program in football that really affected our guys. And I think that our guys have come off the football field looking healthier and more ready to go compete in a basketball game.
Well, that's always good, because after you have the 16 weeks, you're going to have some people banged up, and it's just by making those little adjustments, it obviously has paid off for you guys in at least a small way. Can you talk a little bit about just what your seniors have been able to do so far? I know they each had a big game in that, or three of them had big games in that win over Ironton. But can you just talk about like kind of what they've been able to do? Because obviously you hear Braylon Rucker a lot because he's the quarterback, but also McGraw and Bivens and those kids.
Yeah, I don't care to share with you. So we've got right now our top four leading scores are 15.8, 15.3, 14.8, and 14.3. And I start with that because our seniors have set the tone and set the stage for the type of team that we want to be. Hunter Bivens, Braylon Rucker, Lane McGraw have played a ton of basketball for us. And they understand what it takes to win. And they understand that the best version of us is when we're sharing the basketball and we're being unselfish. And then Caydon Eastep's our fourth senior. And you talk about the ultimate team guy. Caydon has not played very many minutes over his career for us, but he's the first person you'll see up off the bench, greeting the kids in the tunnel, and just battles day in and day out in practice. So they all have a little bit different roles for us. But what remains constant throughout all four of them is that we're going to personally sacrifice so we can put the team first. And because of that, we've been able to find some success here early on. But those three, especially that have played the heavy minutes, is their experience and just knowing what to expect from us and what it takes to win at the varsity level, and it's really paid off for us.
And then SOC3, you started in league play. I know it's super easy every night with all six of you guys. Even with Menford losing a lot, I mean, it's still not going to be easy to win there. So can you just tell us a little bit about your week coming up this week?
Yeah, so a huge week for us. We go out to Valley on Tuesday. Valley beat us twice last year, and we certainly haven't forgot that. And they're a great team. They're well coached. Got a lot of respect for Coach Tackett, the way he runs his program, and he gets his kids to play hard. And they play well. So it'll be a huge challenge for us going on the road Tuesday, and that's kind of where all of our energy and focus is right now. But then Friday, we follow that up by a trip to Menford. It's easy to look at Menford's record and think that they're down or not very good, but those scores have all been close. They've been competitive, and they're going to give people trouble kind of as the season goes on here. So it's a big challenge. I feel like every year I say this might be the deepest our league's ever been. But if you look at what West was able to just knock Valley off, Obviously, we're familiar with Waverly, just playing them. And, I think the league top to bottom, just night in and night out, Coach Persin out at South Webster, always going to be ready to play and compete at a high level. So night in and night out, it's going to be a battle. And we're just trying to take it one day at a time and stack together good days, put together good practices, and, have good performances on game night.
Well, I agree. It sounds like a recipe for winning. And, Coach, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time with us here on Sunday night. And we wish you the best of luck throughout the rest of the week and until we're able to talk to you again later on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Your guys' coverage is top notch, and we like seeing you at the games. And, it's nice to see you there on social media a lot and kind of get some recaps and things when we're looking at other games in the area. So really respect the work that you guys do, and appreciate the opportunity to meet with you tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, when Chris, my brother, texted me and was just like, "Did you see this thing at Wheelersburg?" Like, that obviously means it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, like, I don't know. I still get like ads for basketball promos and things like that, and these are some of the things I still get. And every time you look at it, you're like, man, that'd be so cool. And then someone finally pulled the trigger on it and did it. So I think that you'll start to see. I think that'll start happening.
Yeah. Well, and it's really cool in our area too for it to happen, because you don't see, like, we've got a lot of the lights off and everything, which I love every time. I get pumped every time because but just to see something completely new,
something different.
Yeah. Yep. So, and now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline from Proctorville, Fairland, Coach John Buchanan. How you doing tonight, Coach?
How you guys?
We're doing well. It's is it still a beautiful day in Proctorville?
Always, man. I told you. We had this conversation before. It's always beautiful down here in southern Proctorville, Ohio.
So I do want to ask, was it more beautiful in Proctorville or Myrtle Beach 2 weeks ago when you guys were down there?
Proctorville. It's always better in Proctorville. Everybody needs to know it's always better in Proctorville. Doesn't matter that it was sunny and 70 in Myrtle Beach. It still was better in Proctorville.
All right.
Beat Proctorville.
Hey, that makes me want to come. I'll come down there at some point. But yeah,
you want to come tomorrow, right? I saw you were doing Chesapeake Fairland boys.
Yeah, we'll be down there. We'll drive by.
We'll be 5 miles away.
Yeah, well, I didn't like. This is something last year when we went down and did the Fairland Chesapeake game to watch Brody be awesome like he was. We. Like, I didn't realize how close everyone is down there. I could see why. Why some good stuff happens down there. So it's a pretty cool area you guys have for your conference, and look forward to being down there.
County's like what? There's probably 5 to 8 miles in between each school in Lawrence County. So I mean, you're never more than 30 minutes away from the farthest away school, so it's pretty close knit, and every kid knows every kid and every coach. I mean, it's cool. It's a neat.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool little thing, because like here in Ross County, we're fairly close, but we're not all kind of along the same road, all along the river.
That's a good point too. I mean, we're pretty much if you go from Proctorville to Chesapeake to South Point to Cold Grove to Ironton, we're all literally on the same road.
Stretch,
you wouldn't have to get off the road. We're all on the same road. Rock Hill and Sims Valley are the only two that are kind of off another road, but the other ones, you could just stay on the river and you're going to go through Proctorville, Chesapeake. You're going to go through all those things, right, one after another, after another, after another. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so let's jump back to that Myrtle Beach trip. Can you just, you're coming off a big win over Portsmouth, and then you just did you go on a bus, vans? Did you have parents drive? And just how did that whole thing kind of come about? And I know you guys played some really good teams down there. Can you just talk about that as well?
Yeah, so we've been invited. Our boys got to play there in 2017. So our boys made the state tournament. I think it was 16 when they played, but they made the state tournament in 17. So their 16, 17 team got to play down there. In the boys, they only have they have 2 tournaments now, but back then they had one. So right now they have a prep school division and what they call traditional school division. So in the girls, they have 5 divisions. They have basically a national bracket. Then they have smaller brackets. And we had been invited in the past to play in the smaller brackets. And I'd always been no, I don't want to go. 8 hours and then not play
Good
anybody
teams.
great. So if we're going to go, we're going to play like either we're in the national bracket and we're good enough to do that, or we're just not going.
Mm-hmm.
So they let us play in the national bracket this year. And as you can see from some of the scores, man, there's some really good kids. It was great for us. Well, I'll say this. It can be very great for us. I hope it's great for us. It always just depends on, like, how you take it, I think, as a team. I mean, a lot of people say, well, if you play good teams, you're going to get better. Well, you can. You could get better. Like, we could be better, tougher rebounders because those kids were really good. We could be better at handling the basketball because they really challenged everything that they made us do. But on the other hand, like, that's really up to us. It's not necessarily like, well, we're going to play. If we played Portsmouth every night, we'd be better. Maybe, maybe not. Like, I don't know if we would. Like, it just depends on how you as a team take it, So I hope we use it as a tool for us moving forward. But I thought it was a wonderful experience. Like I said, the first team we played, Westside, South Carolina, I think they lost in the state final last year. They got a 6'5" girl either going to Ohio State or LSU. And their defensive scheme was really smart. Like, they would pressure you on the perimeter. And even if you beat them off the dribble, they got a 6'5" girl standing in the middle, kind of daring you to try to score over her. So that was tough against him. But we did hold her to 11 points. Thought we did a good job on her. We just honestly couldn't make enough shots because you were really going to have to make some plays away from the basket just because she was really good inside. The Ramsey team from Alabama, from Birmingham, we played really well against them, and they would run our style and played well. And I thought we played good against the South Point team from Rock Hill, South Carolina. They had some beasts, man. They had a girl, like, her thighs were like tree trunks, man. I mean, it was wild. They were really up in us, and they did a lot of really. It was just kind of like things that we definitely wouldn't see in Division V in Ohio. Like, we saw those things, and it was great for us. I think it was great for us, and I think our kids really battled and competed really hard. It was one of those kind of trips. I think that we could have went 0-3. Maybe we could have went 2-1. Our boys, like, when they went to the state tournament in 2017. They made a buzzer beater against Myrtle Beach in the last game to go 1-2. So they were on a buzzer beater notch from being 0-3. So I mean, it's a really, really high level tournament. I think it's one of the best on the East Coast. So we feel great about going. And I mean, they invited us back for next year. I don't think that we'll have a national level team next year. So I told them, maybe in a few years, I think I've got a really, really good sixth grade group coming, a couple of those with the freshmen I have now. We'll be ready to go back again at that point. But it was wonderful. It was really, really good.
Coach, I got a question for you. How do you trade films to prepare for for teams like that? How do you get access to that?
I'll be honest with you. Like, we just did the typical, like, go to Max Prep, look at their schedule, just basically like huddle request everybody that they played. Quite a few people were willing to send film. Some obviously didn't, but I think the hardest thing for us was, so we had plenty of scout on the first team we played. But then, like, from there, you're playing in a tournament, and really, like, it could be one of these teams.
Right.
And then, like, in the last game, it could be any one of those 8 teams. Right. So it gets tougher as you go on through the tournament because you got, like, our window was first game we played Westside, South Carolina at 5 o'clock on Friday, and then we lost that game, so we had to play at 10 o'clock the next morning.
Oh, okay.
And so we're 10 o'clock the next morning without a scout per se, like, for sure knowing who we're going to play. So we stayed and watched the game after us. It was at 6:45, and then we basically, like, went to dinner, went back to the hotel, got in the film room and watched an hour or so of that team. Got up the next morning, ate breakfast, watched more film. So, I mean, it was one of those, it's kind of like, it kind of reminded you of the state tournament a little bit. If you made the finals, you got to play you might play the semifinal on a Friday and you play midday, and then you got to basically, like, if you win that, you're eating, you're watching film, you're doing all the prep work, you got to do it again the next day. So, it was great for us just from a standpoint, like, we want to win a state title. Well, you got to go through that. Like, you got to be able to do what we did down there if you want to win in Ohio, that's the same exact thing we'd have to do in Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's it's a great way to look at it because that I've never really considered it because like you have like the Maui Invitational, which is the same kind of similar build of what you guys just went through of like, hey, you can play any of these teams. I mean, yeah, you had to be ready for 7 different teams. It was just
we spent our first day there watching like me and the my male coaches, my guys that went, like we watched all the games that first day. And got there early and did all that. So we had in some of those teams we watched, that was the first time we had laid eyes on those teams. Like I said, we had watched quite a bit of film on West Side, which we were going to play, but we had spent a lot of time there and hadn't spent a lot of time on the other teams because we really didn't want to spend much time watching film on teams that we weren't necessarily going to play. So yeah, it was a different experience for us. It's just in that regard, but it was fun. I mean, it was. I mean, if you're a basketball junkie and you love ball, man, that's what it's all about. That was great.
Yeah, it just sounds like a great experience overall for everybody to go down there, especially as you said, basketball junkie and like. So we've talked a little bit about your seniors, which I want to talk about them a little bit in a minute. But can you talk about what your freshmen have done to just kind of add the depth to your guys' team this year? Because obviously, when you start the 5 seniors, you have a lot of experience. But I thought in that Portsmouth game, I thought those freshmen really made a big impact in the game for you guys.
Well, I know you've been covering us for a little while. We played. When our seniors were freshmen was the last time we were able to do really the system that we're doing now. And that's like kind of press the whole time, sub, like kind of like as much as we want to, that kind of stuff. And, we haven't been able to do that the last couple of years because we haven't had the kind of depth. And right now we feel comfortable with 9 kids playing. We feel pretty good about those 9 kids. And honestly, the toughest thing for me is in games, like trying to get everybody the right amount of time, I want to respect my seniors. My seniors have 12 regular season games left of storied careers. So you obviously want to give them as much possible time as you can, but you also understand man, we got some freshmen that can really, really help us, that really add to your team. And we want to give them a right amount of minutes too. So it's super hard. It's a tough juggling act. And, all of our kids, it's funny, man. I'll tell you this, every one of my young kids have come to me in the last 3 weeks about I say have come to me about playing time, but not in a necessarily like, Coach, I hate you, play me more type thing. It's kind of like, Coach, what I got to do, I feel like, so all of them feel like they're dogs. All of them feel like, man, I should be balling. I should be out there. And, it's awesome. I mean, it's exactly what you want, they're a part of a really good team with really good seniors. And they're like, hey man, what about, I should be playing. I mean, I'm good, and they're right. They are. And that's part of who they are. It's just their mentality, man, is they feel like it doesn't matter that they're 14 years old playing against some really good teams. Like, hey man, I belong out here. I'm that kid, I should play. So I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great mentality. It's a great problem to have. Winning breeds winning, and that's what you guys are doing. And it's been really neat to kind of just talk to you about that Myrtle Beach experience. And one of the things I thought of is, you talked about how it could be a good experience, it could be a bad experience. It's not necessarily, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're not going to go down there and say, oh, to get to this level, I've got to do this and this during the season this year. It's probably more so for your younger kids that you've talked about said, okay, I've seen where these girls are and I want to get to that level. So it's just going to fuel those kids in their off season and not that they already aren't driven, but it's just going to take them to another level in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they really they were kind of shown because obviously when you're 14, you're probably not as strong as an 18-year-old,
right.
And I mean, there's some grown women down there playing. I can tell you that it was good stuff. And I mean, it was every time when the ball went up, it was like $1 million was in the air and all 10 people are fighting for it, and they had to jump in the fight. You had to get in the fight for that. That was really a good experience for them. That was invaluable. And again, I hope that we'll use that and be like, hey man, you remember how this was there? If we fight like crazy, like we had to down there, man, we're going to be really good. We're going to be really successful.
Yeah, and that definitely is just going to help things in the long run. And it had to be cool for, obviously Addison's going to go on and she's going to be a Hatter. But you've had those kids that have played so much basketball, but also to be able to go down and have that, not the last experience, because obviously you guys still have a whole lot of basketball left, but to have one of those big experiences for their senior years.
Yeah, for sure. We always try to do something big every 4 years, with each group. So I think 4 years ago, or we played at the Hoosier place where the Hoosiers was. That was cool for them. Then 4 years before that, we went to this event in Washington D.C. and played a tournament in Washington D.C. So we always we've always tried to every class we've tried to do something. On top of the fact that we always go to Amish country, we always try to go to Classic in the Country as long as we're invited. We're playing in Classic in the City. We'll do different events. We'll do different events in Ohio, but we always try to take one special trip over Christmas every 4 years just to show appreciation to our kids that really dedicate to us. Because, man, I tell you what, it's different here at Fairland from a standpoint of we're really blessed with having kids and families that are dedicated to what we're doing and committed to what we're doing, and it just means a lot. And we want to make sure if you play with us and we treat you like gold. You work like we ask you to do. We're going to treat you. We're going to treat you that way, man. We're going to put you on a pedestal, and we're going to treat you the best we possibly can.
Well, that's part of the reason why you guys are having so much success is they're buying into you, you're buying into them, and because of that, a lot of good things happen over there at Fairland and in Proctorville. So, Coach, we appreciate
Proctorville, baby. That's right. Yeah, it's Proctorville. I just say it like that. That's right.
Yeah, I just want to make sure to always
You're gonna have people taking vacations down there now.
That's right. We need it. We got a McDonald's, we got a Wendy's, we got a Taco Bell,
and the Dragons. You got the Dragons, baby.
We got all kinds of stuff you come down here and see.
Hey.
Man. It's perfect. It's perfect.
You got Ricky. I mean, you got.
That's right. We got it all, man. We do. We got it all down here. We got the perfect setup. And anytime you want to get in the gym, get some shots up, we got a gun. We can set you up. It'd be perfect.
We appreciate that, Coach. And are you going to be there tomorrow night?
It's funny you say that because I was sitting there talking to Brody on the phone. Christian texted me and said, "Hey, are you ready? Are you going to be able to call? Talk, whatever?" And then I said, "Yeah, So I'm talking to Brody, scrolling on Facebook, and your post popped up that you're doing the game. And I was like, "Well, I don't have to go now because I know exactly what that gym's going to be like. How it always is. It's one of the smaller gyms in Southern Ohio. So I'm just going to go to practice after school and then sit my butt on the couch and watch that game and listen to you guys talk about it."
We got a view, so we appreciate that.
You got one view. That's right. You got one view.
We appreciate that, Coach, and we appreciate you taking the time with us tonight. And we'll be following closely throughout the year, and we hope to have you on again later on this season.
Yeah, for sure, guys. I appreciate all you guys do, man.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
have a good
Coach.
one.
All right, bye.
So I just want to throw this out. I was looking this up because I was like, man, I remember when that Fairland team went. They played two guys that played in the NBA. That was their first game. It was like, oh, just, hey, you get to go play in this showcase. Let's see how you do. And you get to play Wendell Moore Jr. and Leaky Black, which you never forget Leaky Black as a name. So.
Right. Well, I mean, what do you say? They went 1-2.
Yeah. Hey, you take that.
Yeah,
you take
sure.
that. But yeah, it's this has been a really good night. We had three really good guests in the studio. Austin Hill, which we want to have him back in here at another time, but I don't know if he's going to be able to be in during the season because he's going to be racing on Sundays.
Right.
Hopefully, we'll see. We'll be following him closely. So if you didn't see that, check back in with that. Then we had Chillicothe's Cooper Stoneking and Caydon Cox in here, really good kids as well. And then we had 6 outstanding coaches call in, and we look forward to next Sunday when we have 6 to 8 more coaches in. I'm sure we'll have another guest in here as well. And the Browns won.
Good day.
Yeah.
Not just in Proctorville.
Yeah, it's a good day everywhere. So if just a few things before we go, we'll have streaming this week. Fairland at Chesapeake will be on Monday. Tuesday will be Eastern Brown and Peebles, 2 undefeated teams on the boys' side. Friday will be South Webster at West on the boys' side, and then Saturday our Kingston National Bank SVC game of the week will be Zane Trace at Paint Valley Girls. That'll be I believe a late start as well. I think that's a 7:30 start. So we will have a full week this week, and then we'll be back in here for the Haynes-Stoll Healthcare Coaches College Show next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. So for our producer, Christian Spradlin, for Matt Hoops, I'm John Bruce. You've been watching the Haynes-Stoll Healthcare Coaches College Show. Have a great weekend.